morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is the Good Tues News Day. That's right, we're covering all the good news that's happening this week. All the things we could find that is great for humanity, and humanity isn't completely despot yet. It's also like only one national day, but I do have a UN day today as well, so we can celebrate that as well. Welcome to Before Coffee, the father and daughter comprehensive news of Planet Earth podcast, where we look up our stories 10 to 15 minutes before we start, and we haven't drunk any coffee or anything with caffeine actually. So let's groggily tell these news stories by finding out what our headlines are. Today on Before Coffee, Indonesia Supreme Court reverses acquittal of former official in slavery case. Sir Rod Stewart announced for Glastonbury Legends slot in 2025.
And the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade turns 100. We'll look back on its history.
Peace to vote on smoking ban and vape sales deliberately targeted at children in the United Kingdom.
British Columbia's hazelnut forests were the nation's first farms. And multivitamins could be saving coral reefs.
Polish artist Alicja Patanowska creates first installation for London's Urban Farmer Project.
And it's National Cake Day. And with all the implications and things that could entail, it's November 26, 2024 on Before Coffee.
It's Good Tues News Day. It's all the good news, and we're gonna find that good news and tell you about it. I didn't know about the story, but supposedly back in July, because I did look up the history of this course, Indonesia had a slavery case. There's people being enslaved, probably. I'm sure they'll tell me the details in the story, but they acquitted him for slavery, for illegal, just doing slavery. And now the Supreme Court has reversed that acquittal from the lower court and said, no, we're not going to acquit a guy who was enslaving people. This is from Reuters, it's by Reuters. Coming out of Jakarta, Indonesia Supreme Court jailed a former government official accused of human trafficking for 4 years, reversing a lower court decision to acquit him after people were found in cages in palm oil plantations. Another reason not to consume anything with palm oil. They're literally doing slavery out there. Condemned international and at home, the senior official in the provincial government in North Sumatra, Terbit Rankana Pergin Angin, had been accused of human trafficking, torture, forced labor, and slavery. I don't think it's an accusation when you find people in cages. That's a pretty huge. Oh, this guy's doing a slavery. That's a fact. Prosecutors launched an appeal after a lower court acquitted him of the charges in July. Indonesia Supreme Court said he would serve 4 years in jail. What? Because he jailed thousands of people for 4 years, that he only gets to go in jail for 4 years? Without specifying the reasons in a ruling dated November 15th and seen on the court's website on Tuesday, which was today, November 26th. The Supreme Court prosecutors did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Reuters has sought comment from Terbit's lawyer. The macabre case came to light in 2022 when a police corruption investigation into Terbit found people detained in cages on his property, drawing condemnation from rights groups. But he's only getting 4 years for that. I feel like you should get life in prison for slavery. That's my opinion. Police investigation found 665 people had been held in cells on its property since 2010. That's longer than 4 years. That's 14 years. Well, I guess there was 22. That's 12 years. What the hell? Terbit, who was jailed for 9 years for corruption in 2022, had previously claimed detained individuals are participating in a drug rehabilitation program. I mean, I guess if he has papers where they signed off their rights, I guess you can't do anything. I shall be your slave. Oh well, they consensually want to be a slave. Prosecutors said they had been tortured and forced to work on his plantation. 6 had died in captivity. Indonesia's rights body found. And they haven't done any more details. But the good news is he's going to jail. It's only for 4 years, but maybe, something bad could happen to him in there, because fuck that guy. I don't even know why they acquitted him, but I'm happy to hear that the Supreme Court reversed that decision. In some more lighthearted news, are you a fan of Rod Stewart? Did you listen to his songs on his records when you were, I don't know, 12? Then good news coming out of Glastonbury. He has taken the legend slot in 2025's festival. Glastonbury, this is on The Herald Scotland by Jody Harrison. Glastonbury Festival organizer Emily Evis said in a post on Instagram, "Bringing Sir Rod back. Sunday afternoon slot on the Pyramid stage is everything we could wish for. What a way to bow out with the final legend slot before we take a fallow year. We cannot wait." Sir Rod headlined Glastonbury in 2002, performing on Sunday night to close out the festival. This year, Canadian singer Shania Twain, known for hits including "Man, I Feel Like a Woman," and "Don't Impress Me Much," those songs, starred in coveted Sunday's afternoon legend slots. Fellow major artists including Yusuf Cat Stevens, Diana Ross, Kylie Minogue, and Dame Shirley Bassey have all filled the prestigious position. Dua Lipa, rock band Coldplay, and American singer SZA all headlined the Pyramid stage this year. Sir Rod is the first musical act announced for next year's festival. They've already signed him up. Stewart will play Legends stage. The musician who turns 80 in January is still going strong and wrote on Instagram, "This will be the end of a large-scale world tour for me, but I have no desire to retire." Nice rhyme there, Rod. I love what I do and I do what I love. Sorry?
All right. That's right.
I think you're
All rock
disconnected.
stars.
Oh, all rock stars, yeah. They're all 80.
I just said all rock stars are 80.
Yeah, they're.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good. I love what I do and I do what I love. I'm fit, have a full head of hair, and can run 100 meters in 18 seconds at the jolly age of 79. I'd like to move on to a Great American Songbooks Swing Fever Tour the year after next. Smaller venues and more intimacy. But then again, I may not. Post will sign the ambiguous Sir Rod Stewart. The biggest track from a 6-decade career include "You're in My Heart," "Hot Legs," "Tonight's the Night," and "Maggie May." Sir Rod is a member of the U.S. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, was knighted in 2016 on the Queen's Birthday's honor list. So congratulations for still going at it at 80. This is why I'm saying millennials are going to end up living to be 120 or something, because, I think, if you 80 years ago,
won't survive.
I'm just saying, if 80 years ago, I don't think people were running around being rock stars, at 80 years old. I think they're all dying at 60 still. But
Right.
it's amazing to see him still running across the stage and having a good time at it. So there's my 2 good news stories.
Keith Moon. Keith Moon died young, but Keith Richards is on a
Still
going.
going. Yeah.
So never know, right?
Onto your
There's
story.
plenty of guys that should have been dead several times. Yeah, there's plenty of these guys, like Steven Tyler, for instance. He's been clinically dead a couple of times, and he's getting up there in age. So
he's actually retired though.
Touring, I imagine.
No, remember we did a story. He
guess.
retired because his throat is completely destroyed now. He's like, I'm just gonna stop. I can't sing anymore. There's no point in me being a singer if I can't sing.
Rod Stewart doesn't have that problem. Rod Stewart always had a gravelly voice, so
He always sounded
never
like
worry
that.
about the timbre of his voice.
Yeah.
Yet, don't worry about the timbre of his voice going away, or unless it goes away completely. Okay, so good news Tuesday. It's 100th anniversary of Macy's Thanksgiving Parade, a big old parade they have in New York City every year, in case you've never heard of it. This is from Jenny Ashcraft of newspapers.com. For many Americans, memories of Thanksgiving are inseparably tied to Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the nostalgic New York City Parade.
Woo, congratulations.
Which began in 1924. It began in 1924, so it'll be the 101st parade, right? Because the first one was the first, right? So 24 would have been one.
Yeah, that's true.
So 2024 is 101. Reeves searched through our archives for articles about parades from early years and invite you to walk down memory lane with us. The first Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was held in 1924. It was initially known as Macy's Christmas Parade and was staged to promote holiday sales and welcome Santa to New York. The floats were based on nursery rhyme themes, with Santa riding the most elaborate float. There were clowns, wild animals from Central Park Zoo, bareback horse riders, and brass bands. The parade ended where they unveiled the fanciful window decorations. Most parade participants were Macy's employees, though a few professional performers participated. The parade proved a big success, and a new annual tradition was born. Well, they just started running the spot. We're going to do this every year. 1927, organizers rebranded the parade as the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and took the event to a new level. They forewent the zoo animals and replaced them with large balloon animals. The first balloon animal was Felix the cat, and the balloons were inflated with air, not helium. Balloon handlers carried Felix on sticks along the parade route. In 1928, Macy's started inflating the giant balloons with helium and releasing them into the air after the parade. Anyone lucky enough to find a balloon after it floated back to Earth could exchange it for a prize. Wow, I didn't know that. This practice ended in 1932 when a young pilot sent her plane diving in to capture a giant balloon floating 5,000 feet up. The balloon wrapped around the plane's wing, causing it to spiral towards Earth. Her flight instructor took control of the aircraft at the last moment and avoided a crash. Yeah, so a huge balloon floating through the air 5,000 feet, not a good thing for air travel. They don't let them go anymore because the environmental disaster would be ridiculous.
Yeah, you know about the great, I think it was the Great Chicago Balloon Disaster. They released like a billion balloons, and then like the whole city was basically covered in balloons. And people suffocated. Like people actually suffocated.
Just bad ideas. Bad ideas. Killing birds too, right? Animals eat these balloons and they deflate. Anyway, they can't digest them, by the way. Latex is non-digestible. Here's the article from that plane almost crashing anyway. It's from 1920, what did I say, 28 or whatever? What year did I say it was? Oh, 1932. A 1932 article. Let's read it. We'll read it in 1932 style. Young girl flyer got herself and plane into trouble. Veteran aviator saved the day. A 22-year-old girl flyer owed her life today to the courage of a veteran pilot after she had jeopardized the life of her passenger and herself to gratify the impulse of a moment. The desire to behead one of the huge helium-filled beasts released on Macy's annual Thanksgiving Day Parade prompted Miss Annette Gibson to dive her plane towards the grotesque-shaped balloon 5,000 feet up. The left wing of the ship crashed against the balloon fabric covering the animal, which was 60 feet long and represented a cat. Must have been Felix the cat. The balloon twisted under the impact and wound itself around the plane's wing. Not a good thing. The ship was thrown into a tailspin and shot towards the earth out of control. Miss Gibson snapped off the control switch to avoid fire, but killed her motor at the same time. And that's when the article ends. Anyway, the pilot pulled him out of the trainer pulled him out of a dive. From 1942, back to the article. From 1942 to 1944, Macy's canceled the parade. The now iconic balloons, so this is not the 101st parade, because they canceled it 1, 2, 3 years. So they canceled it 3 years. So it's actually the 98th. The now iconic balloons used a lot of rubber and helium, both of which were in short supply during the war. Instead, Macy's announced that the giant balloon characters had enlisted in the war effort, allowing Macy's to contribute 650 pounds of rubber for military use. And they used it to make golf balls. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks, man.
Before 1946. Before 1946, only people who got to witness the Macy's parade were residents of New York and those who traveled there. Some listened to radio coverage on the parade. Listening to a parade on the radio, it just doesn't do much for me.
Wow, look at that balloon! Yeah, it looks like a cat, except it's huge. Oh, wow, Tom. You know, like, yeah, that's what they're saying. Now we see some kids dancing on the street next to Santa, you know?
Like Mitch Hedberg said, never follow a parade, it never changes. But if you want to fast forward a parade, just walk in the opposite direction. Some listened to radio coverage of a parade. However, a blockbuster movie in 1947 was about to change that. The parade was featured in Miracle on 34th Street, and suddenly people knew about the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. During filming, parade spectators unknowingly became extras in the film. Macy's customers who greeted Santa following the parade were surprised when the film's assistant director handed them $10 bills for appearing in the movie. Here's $10 bills, no residuals for you, sucker.
Bitch. Yeah.
1948. 48, the parade was televised for the first time. Those lucky enough to own a television set gathered with friends and family to see the parade in a kind of awkward black and white. Over the years, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade has become a colorful, star-studded extravaganza. As the parade played a part in your holiday traditions? To learn more about the parade, and explore curated clippings from across the years, visit our Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade topic page on newspapers.com to relive some of your favorite parade memories. All right, back to you.
I don't know if the Macy Day Parade. I think I probably only remember watching it twice or 3 times. I don't think it's really part of my Thanksgiving tradition or anything like that.
It's one of those things that's covered by multiple networks.
Yeah.
They all send reporters. Some people cover it live. I think CBS is not going to cover it live anymore.
Why?
But, I think they got something else they want to show. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Beer drinking contest. I don't know. Whatever.
The beer drinking contest and Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're all gonna die. Let's get drunk. All right.
I'll tell you why CBS didn't cover it. But it's on the NBC.
Okay.
If you really want to watch it, you can find it.
I'm sure there's streams you can watch too. All right. Well, let's talk about going from, I'm just talking more about, I guess, governments again. This is from, I think, what was it, yesterday or maybe last week? We were talking about the UK voting, oh yeah, I think it was yesterday, voting for the dying law, but they're also voting for banning smoking and deliberately targeted children ads. So we talked about this, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and there's like the 2 things the UK government is arguing about is assisted dying and banning smoking and making sure it kind of eradicate it completely as a thing people do. They're going to slowly increase the age, so instead of being 16, you have to be 18, and then 20, and then 25, and then sooner or later, like, no children should ever be smoking. And obviously that's not how that works, because there's plenty of children who smoke illegally even before these laws were in place. But that's the idea, is just to get rid of the whole ad revenue from trying to sell people smoking as a thing to do. MPs are to vote. This is on The Independent by Jane Kirby. The Tobacco and Vapes bill prevents anyone born after January 2009 from legally smoking by gradually raising the age at which tobacco can be bought. Yeah. MPs are to vote on tobacco and vapes bill, which will give children and young people the protection they need to avoid life in prison by addiction, the health secretary has said. West Streeting said the number of children vaping is growing at an alarming rate, and it is unacceptable that vapes are being deliberately targeted at children with flavors like Gummy Bear and Rainbow Burst. The bill prevents anyone born after January 2009 from legally smoking by gradually raising the age at which it can be bought. It also restricts sweet vape flavors and will review the packaging of e-cigarettes to reduce their appeal to children and young people. The legislation includes a total ban on vape advertising sponsorships, including displays seen by children and young people, such as on buses, in cinemas, and shop windows, and bringing them in line with current tobacco restrictions. Disposable vapes will be banned from June 2025 under separate environmental legislation, while the sale of vapes in vending machines and their free distribution will be stopped. I had no idea any of this was possible. I don't watch TV, so I don't know if there's ads, but I've never seen a smoking or vaping ad here in the Netherlands. They must already have something against that here, because I've never seen an ad for, unless it's very subtle and I didn't realize. I don't think I've ever seen an ad for smoking or anything like that. But the EU does have different laws when it comes to smoking. The Tobacco and Vapes Bill will provide protection that children and young people need to avoid a life in prison by addiction. That's why it's so incredibly important, and it's voted through, said West Streeting. He also said the number of children vaping is growing at an alarming rate, and without urgent intervention, are going to have a generation of children with long-term addiction. It's unacceptable that these harmful products are being deliberately targeted at children with brightly colored packaging in flavors like Gummy Bear and Rainbow Burst. The Tobacco and Vapes Bill provides the protection that children and young people need to avoid a life in prison by addiction, and that's why it's so incredibly important it's voted through. As part of measures aimed at continuing to support smokers to quit, the government will provide £70 million to stop smoking services, the Department of Health said. This is in addition to hospitals being asked to talk about smoking with patients while delivering routine care, making every clinical consultation count. Some £10 million will also be given to the Trading Standards crackdown on illegal trade. Oh no, they're illegally trading cigarettes and vapes. What the hell? Or I guess tobacco. New data shows more than 1 million illicit vapes were seized inland by Trading Standards in 2023 and 24, a 59% increase compared to the previous year. These illicit vapes are probably the ones that have way too much tobacco, right? You're supposed to have a limit on how much are in them, and these ones have way more. So you can get addicted faster. The bill also includes powers to introduce a license.
More nicotine, you mean?
Yeah, more nicotine. The bill also includes powers to introduce a licensing scheme for retailers to sell tobacco, vapes, and nicotine products in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. On-the-spot fines of £200 are included for any shopkeepers found to be selling anyone under age. Only 200? I feel like it should be higher, but I guess they couldn't get it any higher. The bill hasn't been passed yet. England Chief Medical Officer Professor Sir Chris Whitey said on the vote today, if this major piece of legislation is passed, it will accelerate a smoke-free generation and lead to children never being trapped by addiction to cigarettes with lifelong harms to their health. Smoking remains the leading cause of preventable deaths and has a huge impact on the NHS, costing billions every year. NHS National Medical Director Professor Sir Stephen Powis has said, rising number of children vaping is a significant concern, and the Tobacco and Vapes Bill will help prevent marketing vapes to children, which is utterly unacceptable. Smoking results in direct harm across a person's life, both by also causing harms to others around them. Hello! Including children, pregnant women, and medically vulnerable. Like, every time my neighbor smokes into my window, I want to go out there and punch them in the face. You know? It's like, I'm trying to breathe the fresh air. I'm in the fucking countryside, and you're smoking into my window. It's hateful. It's hateful to smoke. Reducing the number of vulnerable people exposed to secondhand smoke, as well as preventing non-smokers taking up vaping is important and will improve the health of the nation. NHS National Medical Director Professor Sir Stephen Powis said, smoking remains the leading cause of preventable deaths and has a huge impact on the NHS, costing billions every year, and we look forward to working with the government and partners to ensure the next generation grow up smoke and vape-free. Sarah Sleet, Chief Executive at Asthma and Lung UK, welcomed the vote and added, the announcement of an additional funding for smoking cessation services is desperately needed to help the tens of thousands of existing smokers who want to quit, which is incredibly difficult to do without support. Stop Smoking Services has suffered drastic cuts in recent years, but when they appropriately funded, they do a fantastic job of supporting people and stop smoking for good. So, every second-hand smoke exposure risk increases the risk of miscarriages by around 10%. The impact of any poor pregnancy and birth outcomes on women and their families cannot be underestimated. Well, there's so much, there's so many things that smoking tobacco does, or nicotine itself does, that ruins everyone's health, and for some reason we're still doing it, you know? I know we can't just say it's illegal and you can't do it anymore, because if you look at prohibition back in the, what was it, the 1800s? Or was it the 1900s? That was not good. That didn't work.
That's good.
Now, I'm just saying, they try to ban an entire, a thing that people use to, whatever, socialize. That's what smoking is. It's a coping mechanism, and you can't really tell people your coping mechanism is now illegal, you know? And you can't tell the companies who make billions and billions on that mechanism to find another industry, you know? You have to just slowly, take away their money until they're just like, oh, I guess we have to stop selling cigarettes because we're not making any money off of it. we'll see what happens. It's only the UK. It's not like they're the biggest market in cigarettes. That's Greece, okay? When we were in Greece, everywhere was smoking. There's no non-smoking zones in Greece. But
there's places in the United States that don't have bans either, but they're all in the South.
Yeah, of course. That's a typical.
Because they don't care about their health down there. Their life to us.
Yeah. The tobacco and vape rules also gives the government the powers to extend the indoor smoking ban to outdoors areas, like children's playgrounds, outside schools, and hospitals are being considered in England, subject to consultation. So these places could also be made vape-free under proposals. That's the future of the law that hopefully gets passed or gets through the Commons. I guess they're voting for it in the Commons right now. And hopefully they can stop these children being targeted, and we will have a generation of less smoking in the UK. And hopefully
worse than farting. Worse than farting. Sorry. Worse than farting. Farting just, right? Farting just kind of dissipates into the air in a couple of minutes. Smoking, it gets in the freaking walls, it gets in the curtains, it gets in the bed,
your hair,
your
you
teeth,
smell like
skin.
it. Yeah.
Your whole house smells like it and nobody knows it. You don't know it, but people that walk in your house go, wow, smokers live here. Everything in your house smells like smoke, and you don't know it because you live in it. In a little yellow film all over everything.
Yep.
Your
and your
TV
fingers.
Screen, everything.
Yeah.
It's like having a little fire every 5-6 minutes. All right, I guess it's my story.
Yep.
We'll go to British Columbia for Good News Network and Andy Corbley. British Columbia's hazelnut forests were actually the nation's first forest farm 7,000 years ago.
Wow.
New insights into the First Nations of British Columbia show how these resourceful people cultivated hazelnuts across hundreds of miles in their forest homes. The study comes as certain indigenous nations of Canada are attempting to assert land claims by arguing their ancestral use. Tribes such as the Gitxsan, the Macy, the Nisega have oral histories of cultivating beaked chestnuts in a way that bisects the traditional divide between hunter-gatherers and agriculturalists. Why would you call them agrarianists? It's easier to say. Like many trees west of the Rocky Mountains, beaked chestnuts release their seeds following forest fires, which native cultures once used to exploit this nutritious crop. Chelsea Geralda Armstrong of Simon Fraser University wanted to see if this interaction with the chestnut trees left a genetic imprint that would be detectable in the plants today. Armstrong and her colleagues sampled 219 individual hazelnuts represented in 3 distinct regions and assessed 9,650 genome-wide singular nucleotide polymorphisms. Polymorphism is a mutation. And SNP is a technical term for all those little genetic differences that make up individuals in one species different from the other. In their study, Armstrong et al. Found that the clusters of shared genetic lineage could be mapped into a landscape inconsistent with the natural process. For example, a tree drops its own seed and germinates, or a bird picks it up and the seed stashes it somewhere. By these standard occurrences, one would expect trees with shared genetic lineage to appear in groups, and to a degree, that's what the study's authors found. However, among 5 different tree groups with shared genetic heritage, individuals were found clustered in various areas across more than 4,000 miles of terrain, which suggests they were planted intentionally. These trees fan out around an agricultural site called Tam Laxam, where ancestors for some Tsmison, Getanyao, Gitxsan, and Nisga'a people lived for thousands of years until a series of natural disasters wiped out the city about 3,500 years ago, writes Sierra Bocher in Science magazine. Hazelnut pollen found in layers dating back 7,000 years ago suggests indigenous peoples had deliberately bought the hazelnuts from north from multiple locations, then tended and cultivated them here. British Columbia is on the Pacific coast, so it doesn't get the snow and frozen soil that a lot of northern Canada does. or a lot of Canada does. Similar findings have been found regarding the distribution of Brazil nut trees in the Amazon. And Boshier adds that there is a suggestion that forest cultivation was widespread practice in North America even before the domestication of crops like maize. As regards the First Nations of BC, experts suggest the study could serve as proof of land use claims for a case currently on the docket for Indonesia Supreme Court. So,
oh yeah,
First Nations trying to get some of their land back. So get some of your
land
land
back, land back, land. I love that.
All them Europeans that was exploited for resources.
Yeah.
You don't enjoy what you have. You're spending all your time digging it up.
That's the best good. That's the best good
Another
news
good-
I've heard in a long time. I love a land back case, man.
Right. Okay, multivitamins is more good news from Good News Network. Andy Corbally. Multivitamins could help save the coral reefs, new research shows. Could a multivitamin boost the health and resilience of coral reefs? Preliminary testing says that, like humans, these critically systems rely on nutrients in the environment and surrounding them. Researchers at the prestigious Woods Hole. What's the name of it? The prestigious Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, or the WHOI, the Hawaii, have been lab testing nutrient-infused tiles to determine whether they would boost the immune system of corals, helping them withstand stresses like warming ocean temperatures that could lead to coral bleaching and better recover from extreme climate events such as hurricanes. The team plans to embed these nutrient-infused tiles in the concrete structure of a 20 square meter or 216 square foot artificial reef designed by experts in the University of Virgin Islands, or the UVI. We are studying how corals react. Well, I skipped way too fast. We are studying how corals react to growing on substrates that have been infused with essential medical micronutrients like manganese, zinc, and iron, explained Colleen Hansel, senior scientist and marine chemist at the WHOI. The rapid warming waters, coupled with active hurricane systems, hurricane season has made it difficult to conduct trials of our substrates, but preliminary data collected during more than a year of lab experience shows that corals that had these early benefits of multivitamins are more resistant and resilient to heat stress. The structure will provide a solid foundation to plant juvenile corals, and for coral larvae to settle on, while the tides will disperse essential nutrients and vitamins into surrounding waters for them to absorb, building their resilience towards environmental stressors. The artificial reef we're building is going to, let's do this again. The artificial reef we're building is going in next to a natural reef that has been severely impacted by marine heat waves and extreme storm events, explained Marilyn Brandt, a coral disease ecologist at the University of Virgin Islands. The artificial reef will protect the shoreline from storm surge and erosion while providing habitat for corals struggling from climate change as we work towards restoring natural reefs in the area. We're trying.
Yeah.
Field testing is still needed to ensure the additional nutrients in the environment don't cater to one specific type of coral or promote the growth of undersized or invasive species. Brandt, Hansel, and their colleagues hope utilizing these nutrient tiles alongside with artificial reef structure will create a diverse environment for reefs and species that rely on them. It is important to create an ecologically sound, diverse coral reef, Hansen continued. We need to be sure an artificial reef looks and sounds as similar to a natural reef as possible. That doesn't consist of just coral, but also sponges, anemones, and other biogeochemical components of the reef ecosystem. These interactions and feedback are necessary to make the whole habitat healthy. The WHOI has been behind a number of coral breakthroughs in recent years. This spring, the Institute found that broadcasting the sound of a healthy coral reef actively accelerates coral growth in a degraded reef. A healthy coral reef is noisy, full of croaks, purrs, and grunts, various fishes, and the cracking of snapping shrimp. The crackling of snapping shrimp. I guess they make a lot of noise when they move. Scientists believe that coral larvae uses the symphony of sounds to help them determine where they should live and grow. A statement from the Institute read at the top. So multivitamins in coral reefs, hazelnuts in the British Columbia plains. There's your new good news from the world. Back to you.
Man. Good. I'm doing a story on plants too, so we're just all the good plant stuff's happening this week.
Plants.
Yeah, plants are not giving up, even if the planet is. Right.
Yeah. They've been here longer than us.
Yeah. Speaking of which, here is our Polish artist. I apologize for saying this wrong because I'm not good at Slavic languages either, but Alicja Patanowska has created a first installation for London's urban farmer project. So getting people in the city of London reintroduced to plants. This is from Elise Morton on Euronews Culture. Last week, Polish artist Alicja Patanowska plantation was unveiled, literally in caps, plantation was unveiled at Urban Farmer Project, a pioneering initiative in London's Fleet Street quarter that seeks to combat food waste and foster sustainable food production, all from a neglected urban plot amidst the bigness of Square Mile. For this location, the project's inaugural artwork reflects Patanowska's ongoing exploration of waste and luxury, as well as her commitment to raising awareness about plant care and environmental sustainability. The installation features a series of handmade porcelain elements designed for growing plants, herbs, and vegetables using hydroponics, alongside repurposed drinking glasses, ranging from pink glasses to champagne flutes. Yeah, if it can hold water, you can plant in it. And that's hydroponics for you. If you can put water in it, go for it. Collected from both the streets of London and the artist's hometown in Poland. Oh, so she picked up trash from the street and said, hey, I could use this for a plant, and then put something in there. In fact, it was discarded glasses that first inspired Patanowska to create Plantation 10 years ago. When a student in the Royal College of Art, she was struck by the number of glasses left outside London pubs and bars and felt compelled to upcycle these thrown-away materials. 200 vessels will form... Oh, it's trying to play the video. I don't want to see the video of the thing. No, go away, the video. Why is this video even here? Alright, go to reading mode. The video is in the way. Right. 200 vessels will form a part of an ecosystem, a live artwork, with visitors able to observe growth and change in plants over the course of the installation's time at the Urban Farmer Project. And on show in London until the 12th of December, Patanowska has previously presented iterations of Plantation at the Museum of the Future in Dubai in 2023, the National Museum in Krakow, Poland in 2018 and 2022, and the Musée d'Art Moderna in Rio de Janeiro in 2016. I'm delighted that the plantation will form a part of the Urban Farmer Project, creating a more eco-conscious community. Amor. It says amor, but they forgot to put a space, so it says amor. I thought it was amore, like the Italian. Creating a more eco-conscious community. Expanding green... Yeah, amore! Expanding green spaces in the city and sharing knowledge... when the plant's in the water and it grows over a long space of time, it's amore. Expanding green spaces in the city and sharing knowledge about the vital role of caring for nature and achieving a balanced life are essential as we face the climate crisis, Patanowska said.
There you go.
Plantation exemplifies the ambition of the Urban Farmer Project, using sustainability, education, and creativity, and affirming the FSQ vision of creating a climate-resilient district for all to enjoy. We are delighted to be developing our cultural connection with Poland. Lucy French, CEO of Fleet Street Quarter Business Improvement District, added. The site-specific installation is co-produced with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Poland, the Polish Cultural Institute in London, Let's Art Foundation, and On Designs as part of preparations for the 2025 UK Poland Culture and Creative Season, organized in collaboration with the British Council. Set within the former bar property of developer Landesk's Hill House development, just north of Fleet Street, and delivered in partnership with Landsec and London's Community Kitchen, the Urban Farmer Project aims to create a marketplace, educational hub, and event space with a mission to tackle food poverty, increase access to sustainable farm produce, and support British agriculture. And you can check out the Urban Farmer Project until December 2024, the 12th. So I guess go now before it's gone and check out this Urban Farmer Project in London, Fleet Street. So very cool. Showing upcycling glass and also showing how you can also do that and grow your own vegetables because I don't know, not to be a doom gloomer or anything, but everyone is looking at a possibility that we're going into another world war because of Russia. Germany is starting to, set out places for bunkers to be built for air raids and all that kind of stuff. And if you know anything about your World War I and II history, right, a lot of people had to start growing their own food. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people had to start growing their own food because a lot of that food was rationed and sent out to the military because they needed it the most. And people were even rewarded. Like, oh, you're part of the Grow Your Own Cabbage initiative. And then you would share your cabbage with the rest of the neighborhood and you'd get a little, thanks for helping out the community. So you better...
Victory gardens, baby.
Yeah, victory gardens. That's what they're called. Yeah, victory gardens. Yeah, so... if you're not...
There's some victory gardens. Let's get that spirit back.
And honestly, if the global economy breaks down, there will be a lot of food shortages in a lot of places because a lot of our food comes from other places. Of course, we were talking about Trump trying to increase tariffs. And the thing is, a lot of America actually gets imports. The Netherlands, for example, is the fourth biggest agricultural importer to the United States, which I don't think they're going to tariff the Netherlands. I don't think that's going to happen. But
the really stupid people in this world think that the manufacturers pay the tariffs.
Yeah,
they really actually think that.
It's gonna be
I want to sell things to the United States. I'll spend the extra money to sell things to the United States. No, they won't. They'll sell it somewhere else.
Or keep it, and then their country will have a surplus. And your country will have nothing, and you won't have any potatoes.
Their country will have a deficit. Their country will suffer because they're making things that nobody's buying. They have to sell them somewhere. So he's going to crash the world economy is what he's going to do. Of course, like we said this before, Republicans used to be free trade. Now I don't know what the hell they stand for. They don't stand for anything, as far as I know. Yeah. They don't. Their party stands for nothing. They don't believe in free trade. They don't believe in democracy. They don't believe that Russia is bad, which is like, okay, my entire life we've been fighting the Soviet Union. All of a sudden they're the good guys. I'm sorry. They did not become the good guys overnight. They were good guys while Boris Yeltsin was in charge, but that didn't last.
But the point is, I think it's always good to just know how to farm your own food, how it works. Hydroponics is a really easy way because all you just need is water and roots and water.
You better grow your own food. USA, you better grow your own food because Trump's going to deport all the farm workers.
Oh, yeah, that as well. Nobody's going to be picking tomatoes. They're just going to rot in the field.
Yep. Yep. All your fruit is just going to stay in the trees. Nothing to do about that, right? You can't not plant fruit. I guess you can not pollinate your fruit, but it just happens, right?
Yeah, that's possible.
So all that fruit is going to, price everything's going up. We're going to be eating like our family pets. We'll be all like the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, where they eat dogs, right? We'll all be eating dogs.
That was totally real story, yeah.
Yeah, of course. We're just going on the fake world we live in now, where fake news is real news, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For all the stupid people out there, that thinks the vaccine killed all those people during COVID. That's a news thing. The vaccine was developed. People were dropping dead from it. Got it. Never mind. You're all stupid.
Anyways, on to this day in history, which is, not...
Okay, this day in history. Wrap this up so you can get this done by 5:30 so I can take a super nap. Okay. This day in history, we're going to go all the way back to, how far back? It was always a mystery how far way back we go. We go back to the year 579.
Wow, that's pretty back.
579. Yeah, the year 579. Pelagius II succeeded Benedict II as Pope. So we know when Benedict II happened, way back in 579 he died. So in 1883, Sojourner Truth, the African-American evangelist and reformer who applied her religious fervor to the abolitionist and women's rights movements, died. So, don't know her birthday, but you know what day she died. And this day in 1883, revolutionary abolitionist, a black woman, and an evangelist. 1894, Nicholas II, the Tsar of Russia, married Alexandra, and they were first cousins, and of course, their children had hemophilia. 1909, Eugene Ionesco, the Romanian-born French dramatist whose one-act anti-play La Cantatrice Chauve, which in 1949 was called The Bald Soprano, is that what that translates into, inspired a revolution in dramatic techniques and helped inaugurate the theater of the absurd. So happy birthday to Eugene Ionesco. Born in 1909. 1918, the National Hockey League was founded and featured 4 Canadian teams. The first American club, the Boston Bruins, was added in 1924. The 4 American teams were probably Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't even know what the other 2 would be. Quebec? No, it wasn't Quebec. Well, we'll figure it out later, maybe. Name another major city in maybe Calgary. No, I don't know. Probably not. American singer Tina Turner. It's a happy birthday to Tina Turner. She was born in 1939, so she was around today. She would be 85. So happy birthday. Who found success? Here's your little blurb. She found success in rhythm and blues, soul, and rock genres. Some rock and roll, but I don't know. Rock and roll was several queens. I would think they would have been crowned a long time ago. But Tina Turner's birthday. Happy birthday, Tina. Left a good job in the city. 1941, U.S. Secretary of State Cordell Hunt sent a harsh notice to Japan calling for full withdrawal from China and Indochina. That's right. He said, Japan, get out of China or we're going to start a war with you.
And then they did.
But Japan said, no, you won't. We'll start a war. 1982, Nakasone. Well, yeah, and we also had a giant oil embargo on Japan, so left them really no choice. They were all gonna freeze to death, starve to death, whatever. They couldn't get their. You gotta have, gas for your vehicles. 1982, Nakasone Yasuhiro, leader of the Liberal Democratic Party, was elected the Prime Minister of Japan, replacing Suzuki Zenko. In 2008, this horrible day, we were 10 gunmen who were believed to be connected to the Lashkar-e-Taiba, a Pakistan-based terrorist organization, launched a series of coordinated attacks on Mumbai in India. The siege ended 3 days later with at least 174 people killed. Way to go, assholes. Our featured events. Here's looking at you, kid. The premiere of Casablanca, set in occupied Morocco during World War II, directed by Michael Curtiz and starring Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Paul Heinrade. Paul Heinrade? I was thinking of Claude Rains and what's his name? The guy the one to do it. Peter Lorre, yeah. Anyway, it premiered this day in 1942 and became one of Hollywood's most revered films. So, Casablanca. Louis, this is the start of a beautiful friendship. And our feature biography, Charles Schultz. Oh, by the way, I did send you a video. I hope did I mention that?
I got it.
Okay. It's a rerun. It's Charles Schultz's birthday. He turns 102. He's born November 26th in 1922 in Minneapolis. Died February 12th, 2000 in Santa Rosa, California. This day also is, the Peanuts cartoons, of course. Charlie Brown, Snoopy. 1857, birthday of Ferdinand de Saussure, Swiss linguist. Norbert Wiener. His name is Norbert Wiener. Born in 1894, American mathematician. 1911 is the birthday of Samuel Herman Rajewski, American chess player. We already covered Charles Schultz and Tina Turner. There's all your birthdays for today. And National Day. It is National Cake Day. That's it. Just National Cake Day. So all the trouble you can get in with that. Eating cake. So let him eat cake on November 26, 2024 on Before Cake.
All right. I already had a banana bread, which I guess in a way is a kind of cake. And I'll be making a cake maybe this Friday. And let's go ahead.
Cake.
Yeah, banana cake. Also, international observances of the United Nations, improving social welfare for people. So, look at ways to make affordable and accessible. Sorry, that's not right. It's the International Sustainable Transport Systems Day. So, making affordable and accessible sustainable transport systems to improve the social welfare of people, enhancing international cooperation and trade among countries. So if you're able to transport things, you can have that global economy we were talking about in the previous story, and also share things around, enhancing the knowledge of how you can make good public transport environments and friendly, so you're not just running people over on the highway. And also, it's better for the environment if there's 20 people in a bus than 20 people in individual cars. So, next stop for a more sustainable future is World Sustainable Transport Day. Today's international observance. Yeah, make them electric as well, or running off of green gas, like CO2 and stuff like that, methane, stuff like that.
Cars were awesome. Yeah.
Anyways, that's the end of our show for today. That's all the good news. We were able to fit in this, short 1 hour show. We will see you guys tomorrow for Wacky and Weird Wednesday, where we'll look up all the weird stories. I already have one about thin pasta. I've been holding on to this story for days. The thinnest pasta you've ever seen.
Oh boy.
And I'll see you there for some more wacky news like that. So make sure you're subscribed. Turn on that notification bell. You're following us in all the places so you know when we are posting a new video. And like this video, let us know what your favorite thing about plants is, because the plants were the stars today. And here is our mic drop moment. A nice short mic drop moment.
Yeah, I think we showed this last year.
What is that? He's so tiny. The little puppers.
The dog's name is Snoopy. That's a pretty good name. We'll keep it.
Aw, so cute.
Look, it's public transportation.
Hey, perfect for
talking to the
International
man,
Day.
I was looking through their records. Someone else bought this dog, but then returned him. You got a used dog, Charlie Brown.
A used dog? So what?
Well, you're my dog now, Snoopy.
Aw, so cute.
I'll show you to your new home.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.